Welcome back to the deep dive, where we take complex ideas and really break them down into strategies you can actually use.
Exactly. The goal is always to make you more effective.
And today we are diving into something that I think almost everyone struggles with at some point. It's the linguistic art of giving an opinion,
Hmm.
especially a critical one, without, sounding like a jerk.
It's a huge paradox, isn't it? Because you, the listener, you might have this brilliant insight that could save a whole project.
Right.
But if you deliver it too directly, that idea it hits a wall, it gets rejected, not because of the idea, but because of the delivery. It feels hostile.
Exactly that. So our mission for this deep dive is to get into the hidden social rules behind giving feedback in English. We're going to
Mhm.
break down why being too direct often fails.
Now, we're going to give you three really essential linguistic techniques with the specific phrases to make sure your great ideas are actually heard with respect.
Okay, let's unpack this. And I think we have to start with the problem itself. Let's call it the peril of
Yeah,
directness.
that's a good way to put it.
For a lot of people, especially if you're coming from a culture where directness is a good thing, you're taught that simple, correct grammar is the goal. You want to be understood.
And that's where the clash happens. Because when your goal is just factual accuracy,
Mm-hmm.
you tend to make these very absolute statements.
Right. And you can probably picture this in a meeting. You hear things like, I don't agree,
Mm.
or even more blunt, that's wrong.
Oof, yeah. That one's tough. Or, my personal favorite, your idea is not good.
It's like a sledgehammer. And those sentences, they're grammatically perfect. There's nothing wrong with them on that level.
But socially, you've just declared war. When you say that's wrong, you're not just critiquing an idea, you're positioning yourself as the final authority.
And you're attacking the person's competence by extension.
Precisely. The dynamic immediately shifts. It's no longer us solving a problem. It becomes me versus you.
So what's the core principle here? What are native speakers doing differently?
They instinctively avoid attacking the idea head-on. They soften it. And they do that by introducing one of three things: either distance, hesitation, or personal perspective.
They're basically watering down the certainty.
Exactly. You're framing the critique as your viewpoint, not as objective truth.
Okay, but what if the idea really is just wrong? I mean, what if there's urgency and you need to be clear? Doesn't all this softening kind of dilute the message?
That is a fantastic question. The goal isn't to get rid of the critique. It's to make sure the other person's brain is actually open to hearing it.
Oh, okay.
If you're too aggressive, they stop listening to the content and just focus on the attack.
Mm.
By softening it, you're buying yourself the social capital to have your message land. The urgency is still there, it's just wrapped in respect.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so if we need distance and perspective, let's jump into technique one. You call it the golden rule of perspective.
Yes, this is the foundation. You absolutely have to frame the opinion as your view, not as an undeniable fact. It's all about signaling that this is subjective.
You're not making a universal proclamation.
Not at all. You're just talking about your own experience or your own thoughts right now.
I like that. So what are the specific phrases we can use to do that, to create that separation?
The easiest way in is with I statements.
Hmm.
The absolute classics are I think, or a bit softer, I feel like.
Okay.
If you're in a more formal context, you can just elevate that a bit to from my perspective
Yeah.
or in my experience.
And these aren't just filler words, right?
No, absolutely not. They are crucial. They're what linguists call hedges, and they literally protect the relationship.
This is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at the mechanics. A direct statement like, this plan won't work, is so absolute. How do these phrases change the actual grammar?
This is where modal verbs become your best friend. Verbs like might, could, or seems. They are the backbone of polite professional English. So you pair an I statement, like I feel like, with a modal verb, and you instantly dilute the certainty. You go from won't work, which is 100% certain, to might be challenging, which is, what, maybe 60%?
So you're using grammar to express humility.
Exactly. Let's make it super concrete. The listener's old confrontational phrase is, this plan won't work.
Okay, so using this technique, the new version becomes something like, I feel like this plan might be challenging, or might be challenging to execute.
Yes. And notice you also swapped out the absolute won't work for the more process-focused word challenging.
It sounds like a concern now, not a rejection.
It's an invitation. It invites the other person to solve the challenge with you.
That's a huge shift.
How do-
Okay, so technique one gives us distance. Let's talk about technique two, which you call softening with buffers. This is like putting up a social shield.
It's a shield, exactly. Buffer phrases are these brilliant little maneuvers that do the social work before you even state your opinion. They're a preemptive signal. They basically say, I respect you, I'm not attacking you, but I do have a different thought.
So you're lowering their defenses before the critique even arrives.
You're lowering the emotional drawbridge, yeah. So when they hear the but, they're ready to consider it, not just react to it.
And one of the most common ones is kind of like an apology, right? I could be wrong, but
Yes, and when someone says that, they're usually not saying they think they're wrong.
no, they're signaling professional respect.
Right, they're saying, I value your point of view, and I'm humble enough to know mine isn't the only one, but here's my thought.
That's so strategic. So what are the key buffer phrases we should all start using?
Well, we've got it. I could be wrong, but that's perfect for raising a potential risk. Another great one is, this might just be me, but.
I like that one. It makes the concern seem smaller, more personal.
It does. And then there's the professional classic, which is just golden when someone's given a presentation. I see your point, but
Ah, yes.
it's so powerful because you're validating them first. You're saying, I heard you, I understood you before you introduce your counterpoint. That little bit of validation creates so much psychological space.
So if we build a full statement now, instead of just saying an idea won't work, we add a buffer. Something like, I see your point, but I'm not sure it'll work in practice.
Perfect. The critique is still there, it's still clear, but it's wrapped in respect. It's professional.
This brings us to technique 3, which feels like the most advanced one. It's about turning confrontation into collaboration. You call it asking instead of telling.
This is a major pivot. It's where you stop delivering critiques as statements and start reframing them as strategic questions.
Why is that so powerful in a work setting?
Because it shares the problem-solving process. If I tell you your plan is missing a risk assessment, your first instinct might be to get defensive.
Right. Defend my plan.
But if I ask, have we considered the potential risks with this approach? Now we're a team looking at a problem together. You're gently guiding them to see the flaw themselves.
It's less like you're pointing out their mistake and more like you're just doing due diligence.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You're encouraging the whole group to think critically. So if you're worried a project will take too long, don't say, this timeline is unrealistic.
Instead, you ask a question. What would that sound like?
You'd ask something like, do you think this timeline might cause any delays down the line?
Okay. And if you have a totally different idea?
You can ask, have we considered another option that might address the budget constraint?
Or my favorite, which is so subtle, what if we tried a different approach?
Yes. What if is an amazing opener. You're presenting your alternative as a shared thought experiment, not as a demand. It keeps everyone on the same level.
Okay, this is the aha moment part of our deep dive. We're going to do a quick fire round. Direct versus native style.
Let's do it. Listen for the difference.
Okay, comparison 1. You think someone is wrong. The direct way, you're wrong.
And the softened, respectful way. I'm not sure I completely agree with that.
Oh, that's got like 3 layers of softening.
It does. I'm not sure, adds hesitation. Completely minimizes the disagreement, and focusing on the assessment takes it off the person.
Okay, comparison 2. You're in a presentation and you're lost. The direct, almost blaming way. This doesn't make sense.
The buffered, collaborative way. I'm having a little trouble following this part. Could you walk me through the logic here again?
So you're taking the blame. It's my trouble, not your bad explanation.
Exactly. And then you ask a question to invite them to help you.
Last one. Comparison 3. You think an idea is genuinely bad, maybe even risky, the direct way. That's a bad idea.
And the professional questioning way. I wonder if there might be some risks with that approach. Have we thought about X?
I wonder that's such a gentle way to introduce doubt. You're just thinking out loud.
You're inviting them to analyze the flaw with you instead of judging them for it.
These examples really show how tiny shifts in language can have this just enormous social return.
And this brings us to the bigger picture. If we connect this all back to your actual career, prepping for a big meeting or trying to get a promotion, this isn't just about being polite.
It's about being effective.
It's about being seen as a leader, not just someone who's competent. In so many English-speaking workplaces, how you say something is more important than what you say.
So a brilliant idea delivered rudely just gets thrown out.
It often does. Or worse, you get labeled as difficult to work with, and that can really stall your career no matter how smart you are. Strong opinions are good, They're necessary.
But they have to be wrapped in politeness.
If you sound respectful, people actually engage with the substance of your idea. If you sound rude, they just focus on the attack.
That cultural context is so, so important to remember. Okay, so to summarize the strategies we've distilled today, soften your opinion with personal perspective.
Buffer it with a respectful phrase before you deliver the critique.
Or, the most powerful one, turn your critique into a collaborative question.
And practicing these phrases really will change how you're perceived. You won't just sound more polite. You'll sound more thoughtful, more strategic. You'll make sure your valuable insights actually get heard.
So what does this all mean? We like to leave you with one final thought to mull over. Next time you have to give some tough feedback, just consider this.
That the extra 5 seconds it takes to package your critique respectfully doesn't just protect the other person's feelings. It is probably the single biggest factor in determining whether your knowledge is seen as valuable and whether your idea gets adopted.
Choose the wrapping wisely.
Until the next deep dive, keep learning and keep communicating effectively.